Today especially, you're going to be experiencing lots of mandalas. They're in nature. They're in your foods, and we'll be having that with Alina. There's my yellow lemon. And you gotta eat your mandalas, eat the rainbow here. And you're going to be completing the night with our gong, our yoga nidra. And they're in art. And so I love this color wheel because it's really, not only is it a color wheel, it is one of the most complex, geometrically complex mandalas. And you can see when Vanessa was saying there's this color grid, there are infinite possibilities and overlapping colors. You will find them, you can make them in words. I am compassionate, I am abundant, I am patient, I'm loving, I'm powerful, and we hope you find those today. And when you do your mandalas, when we take a break, I have supplies back there. What I wanted you to do is to trace a circle on the right side of your page and to see what bubbles up, but I want you to layer it and put it down in words later. Maybe a poem bubbles up, maybe an image bubbles up, and you expand on that. So not only the mandala itself, for those of you that are more geometric, I have my rulers, I have there are tools back there for you to get geometric. For those of you that want to free flow, that's wonderful. And remember, if you get out of the lines, it just might be a little symbolic that your life is a little out of the lines, that it's a little all over the place. We had our first mandala making and our Tree of Life ceremony about 3 years ago, and it's a big hoop with silk, and everybody painted. They didn't know there were words underneath or a tree, so when I washed out the resist, those emerged. And this was our piece from last year. We had the love, feel, connect, believe that started with this conference, those themes that we took into our service of remembrance, and we finally got everybody to meditate. And we finally got them not to be in their words, but to be in their heart. And once they finished the meditation, they came and made the center mandala, which is beautiful, and it's on the cover of your book. And it's on Paula's CD. So we want you to explore and feel and give color and movement and words to what you experience throughout the day. We're giving you many, many tools, but we want you to have time to express yourself. So when there are breaks, I will be over there. I have markers and stamps and things to help you out, but we want you to make some mandalas and some mandala memories and share them with us. So tonight when you come back, we would love to see what you've done. So open up and begin your expressive arts journey. You are an expressive artist as of right now. So what I was told in college, I took every class he offered. He was Mr. Rogers' best friend, Dr. Rapp. And he said, you do whatever you want in class, because we're only using 10% of our brains. So while our speakers are speaking, draw your mandalas, draw a circle. It doesn't have to be perfect. Draw in there, because something that they're talking or speaking about may be bubbling up in you that needs to get on the paper. So we invite you to start journaling that. And I'm hoping that you will bring them back and show us your mandalas later. Thank you.
Is it on? No. Right. you hear me back there? Is it loud enough?
It's not quite loud enough. No.
Can you hear me in the back? Can you raise your hand if you can hear me? Okay, okay, good. Okay, good. So we have the first raffle prize. And Lisa, so everybody gets to meet you before tonight. The woman in orange. We have a theme. Would you draw the numbers? Number.
Just the last three numbers.
I read the last three numbers. 065. All right. Okay, there you go.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Do you want to tell them what it is?
Well, it is totally linked with the cooking demo, and it is a slow cooker. So tonight's prize is going to be the juicer that is on the table with Alina Z. So the juicer is going to be raffled off, and Alina actually had that donated just for the Women's Summit. So it's, yes, there you go. Yay. So finding your jet stream. Someone recognized me and I said, you know, I'm so glad he knew that was me because that was photoshopped. It was someone's son who was here, yes. And he goes, oh, is that you? And I go, oh, thank you, you're so kind. Finding your jet stream, what could that mean, right? So it's a beautiful metaphor that I found that I use in my own life and I use with my clients. And it comes from my readings and my love for hummingbirds. And they are these, of course, tiny, tiny birds, right? And they fly from Alaska to Brazil every year. And they make other types of passages as well. And they fly with those tiny wings. Sometimes they're in continuous flight for 4 to 5 hours. Luckily, maybe there's a ship going its direction and it comes down for a rest or not, right? So it's like, wow, how could that be? I was so curious. And then the more I read that they find the natural currents, the jet streams. They know where they are. So they are in the natural flow, right? Rather than the verbiage we use to describe pushing a boulder uphill, right? How many people feel in advocacy work, I did that for years. I felt like I was pushing a boulder uphill. You'd almost hit it uphill and it would be coming back towards you, right? So in lieu of that, when I stepped out of my kind of battle with life in many ways and really began deep, deep healing work, I realized there's a very, very different way to life. And that's really what has motivated me to bring this work to you. So I was thrilled when Lori asked, Paula, you know, let's bring some healing work for women. They're asking for it and help me do it. And so that is what motivated me, is this knowing that there is a different way. And I see it, I'm a shamanic energy medicine practitioner, and it's kind of a mouthful, and what in the world could that really mean, right? But it means that I help my clients come onto their own healing path. I don't create a journey for them. I'm not the healer for them. We have the power within to heal ourselves, and I facilitate that. And I'm a bridge between the invisible spiritual world and this material world for the client. So I'm able to see the aura. And on the aura, which, Vanessa, we all were, that's why, you know, when you left today, go see if you can experience your aura expanded. All of those chakras lined up, expanded out, is your aura, which is the color of a rainbow. It's a beautiful, you know, not knowing, right? That is us. We are walking rainbows. We just cannot see them. But when you're trained to see them, I can see what's on their field, and I say, you know, show me, is this individual on their jet stream or not? I use it in my work. So, you know, spirit, or that form, maybe the whole individual's person's soul itself, shows me an image, and it would be like, wow, the person's right next to their jet stream with just a little bit of guidance, right? They can be into the natural flow of life. And then some people were way out, way away from our jet stream. So what is it when we are there? So it is when we are in balance, when we are in harmony. Our mind, our body, our spirit, our soul is in balance, congruent. When we say that person walks their talk. But Pat, from this morning, I joked around about her joking on the phone with me about what is she doing, and she's, you know, oh, I'm on the toilet. Of course she wasn't on the toilet. She's like bringing joy and laughter into life, right? She walks her talk, and she can manifest things in easy flow with life. Vanessa walks her talk. Lisa walks her talk. When we are walking our talk, when we're congruent with what our soul is longing for, when we're singing that song that wants to be sung, we are in our jet stream. And we can be in our jet stream one day, and we can be out of our jet stream the next day. But the beauty of these practices that we're bringing to you is a way in which you can identify when you're in and out of your jet stream. One, awareness, we're going to talk about that. But also, how do I get back into my jet stream? So it is the mandalas, it's the art, it's the journaling, it's the balancing with color, it's grabbing that yellow scarf. I'm going to buy a dozen for Dana, let me tell you, of those yellow scarves and deliver them to her office. I'm just kidding. I just love to work with her. And so it's grabbing that color scarf that you need. Knowing the power within to focus and to bring that healing energy is within ourselves. But often, and I lived in this for many years, and that's why I bring this to you. I live it, I can still step into that. We can get caught up into what's been called the drama triangle, or the disempowerment triangle. And Stephen Cartman's work, he was actually in theater, but he developed this tool, this understanding and construct called the drama triangle, because he was also in transactional analysis, and he blended the two, or helped create what was formed transactional analysis in the 1960s, because he could see people's roles that we play in theater. So it's like interesting how these three dynamics always show up. So we're not in our jet stream if we're in this dynamic. And as parents of children with disabilities, it's easy to be in here. My daughter was born in 1984, it was a very long time ago, but you know, leave her in the hospital to die. No, she can't go to that preschool. No, she can't have this. No, she can't have that. Medical procedures that were invasive, that were unnecessary. You give me, I can create the list. We all in this room have our list. And it's easy to feel the victim of situation. And Pat told her story today. I love the story, right? She stepped out of victimhood almost immediately, right? Not to be swallowed up by it. And created a healing path, not only for herself, but now for probably millions of people beyond self. So we all have a preferred role. So we're going to do a little bit here so you identify yours. So the victim is someone who is then victimized. The poor me, it's my fault, it's not my fault, they do it to me. Everything comes from the outside. We're kind of being done to. And we don't see easily, become very defensive, how we may be contributing to our own mess. We always create our own mess. I mean, there's just no one else creating it other than ourselves. So the victim comes from that lens, you know, instead of those lenses we put on, all of those different beautiful colored lenses, see what it feels like to look out of that one. It's almost like a lens that you're looking out at into the world. The persecutor is someone who is the bully. And all three of these to manage our own lives, we step into these behaviors. So a persecutor is a bully, someone who feels that they need to be tough and controlling in order to manage their lives. They try to manage everyone else's. And I had this dynamic with my daughter. My daughter lived for 12 years, was just an incredible, stubborn child. A beautiful daughter who was also stubborn, with a stubborn mother. So we would get into these, I'm now looking back and see these dynamics, right? Because what happens with the victim is that the victim can only stand victimhood so long, because the victim then becomes what? The bully, right? We only stay in that role so long, and then we move and begin to bully back. I'm going to defend myself and bully back. And the rescuer is someone who, in lieu of, and this is my dominant style, my default. So in lieu of figuring out my own life, I am an expert. If you want to manifest something in your life, you call me. I'll manifest it for you. I'll tell you exactly what to do in your life. But it's very difficult for me to manage my own, to figure that out for myself, because I was a rescuer from early childhood. All of these start in early childhood, in our family of origin, is where we get the roles. My brother was the bully, I was a rescuer, and we had another brother who I think in some regard became the victim. So I was thinking last night, we won't get into politics here, but we could take the three leading candidates and oh, I guess everybody got there. Everybody understands the paradigm. I can change the slide. We're all there. The knowledge has been absorbed. Okay, so there you have it. So I want you right now, though, to figure out, identify your own preferred style. You know, let's make fun of ourselves, make it light. So when you identify your own preferred style, raise your hand. Now, yeah, what's your default? Where are you in that triangle? Where do you start? What's your dominant self? When you identify it, raise your hand.
You can sometimes be a little bit of everything.
Yes, exactly.
I need a hard time.
Yes. Yeah, because we move around, and that is the point. When the drama happens, and this is why it's called the drama triangle, is because when the victim gets tired, okay, let me talk to myself about myself, right? It's always easy. When the rescuer gets tired of helping the victim, the poor helpless victim, right, and withdraws and goes, you know, go find your own job. It's not my job, you know, like go do it yourself. Right, because you suddenly get fed up and the person's like totally confused. I thought you were here helping me, right? Because the rescuer changes the dynamic and it creates a drama.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so then I moved around and I became the bully. It was like, go do it yourself. So it wasn't a compassionate, you know, relationship, a loving, compassionate relationship. It was like kicking the butt and go do it yourself, get on with it. Right? That's the bully, right? So then the bully becomes angry, you know, right? You see where that person gets angry and then feels victimized, but then bullies back. So you move all around it, but you stay within a disempowered state of being when you're in it. So there's something else called TED, and it is the empowerment triangle. And you have a handout that will give you more information about it. But we're going to do a healing journey in just a little bit. So to prepare for that, I want you to close your eyes and just sink into the heart. And when we do that, it's always in this place of non-judgment of self. We can only do the deepest of our work when we're not in judgment of ourselves. We're in judgment, there's no going deep, because we feel like we're beating our own self up. We can't face anything. So you're in a non-judgment way. Like Pat's story this morning, she became curious and used humor. And we have to do that in order to move beyond our limited self. We all have limits. And identify 2 relationships in your life that exist now in which you're engaged in this disempowering triangle. Right? And when you have 2 identified, raise your hand. Where you feel that you maybe have given your life to someone else in rescuing that person. We do that for our children, and there's so much obvious need sometimes for that, right? But then we have these opportunities to pull back and say, okay, it's me too here. And I need to take care of self and tend to my own soul's song. So you may just identify the role of a rescuer. So in your own mind, set the intention right now that I release myself from this disempowering relationship. The relationship's still there, but the dynamic is what dissolves. So I see these cords. Sometimes I see with cords with my clients that there's these cords between the individual and the other person, right? It's their son, their daughter, their husband, an ex-boyfriend that they're still in this dynamic with, they can't seem to cut. And maybe you see a cord, whatever that is, and just release that relationship from that dynamic. It's an energetic exchange. And we can release ourselves from that so that we have a fulfilling relationship, a meaningful, a heart-to-heart, and authentic relationship with that person. So in just a bit, we're going to come back to that. So hold on to that thought as I move to talk a few minutes about how we step out of the triangle and what has helped me. So we open the aperture. We've seen a lot of old, the original camera flashes today, right, that have the aperture on the camera. And if we open it wide, we can open it to a backdrop of eternity, an eternal backdrop. That is that life has infinite possibilities, and when we're not shackled in these limited roles, we have an infinite possibilities come to us of things that we can manifest in our jet stream with ease and delight. This particular construct, really, but it's a mystical, mythic journey that we in this room, 100% assured, are all on in some way or in some step of the way. Joseph Campbell was this awesome historian, philosopher who created a term, coined the term, the hero's journey. He found these same 17 steps to personal transformation in every single spiritual tradition that he read about, and every religion, spiritual tradition, religion, every mythology, cosmology, across all time. It has this journey as part of it. And so I see it as a map for ourselves of how it is that we create a growth and expansion of ourselves. What do we need to do? What are the steps along the way? So you will find yourself in this, in that it begins, there's 3 parts. There's a call to adventure, there's crossing the threshold, and then there's the return. So I found this amazingly in Pat's story this morning, but I also found it in the story of the Wizard of Oz. It is not only in, they actually teach the hero's journey, these 17 steps, to movie directors. So we think of it of Lion King. How many have seen Wizard of Oz? It's old, okay, great. It's an old classic, right? But it's in Lion King, it's in Star Wars. Movie directors study it in order to kind of included into their plots of the movie. I would like you to actually take out your handout. Take out a handout in your packets that's called The Hero's Journey. I've looked at it so many times I've put it in the wrong place. So wonderful. So many of you have seen The Wizard of Oz. We're going to use Pat's story if you want to draw upon that from this morning, maybe your own story or the movie. And we're going to quickly go through these steps because I want to help you to find yourself where you are on the journey. And we don't go around this one time, but we go around it many times. So think of Pat, her call to adventure was the acceptance into the whole realm of cancer treatments. She didn't have to take that journey. See, every place along the way, we have a choice. So she took that call into adventure. And there was maybe some refusal of the call, but she took the call. So for The Wizard of Oz, the call of adventure, remember Dorothy? She woke up. Okay, so to help her remind you of that, we have this. So this is about rebirthing. Everyone here is rebirthing. Everyone in this room is in a transformational process. And we go around this a few times in our lives. It's just not once. So just remember. Notice the spiral. Notice the spiral. Wonderful movie. So why this is so personal for me, it was, my daughter passed away in '96, and many years later I felt I had a personal communication, which brought me onto this path. I was finishing my doctoral degree. I was 55 years old. Didn't know what was next for me in my life. And I decided I would go see the psychic. It was a very odd set of experiences. Never thought about seeing a medium, never before, but he happened to be coming from Georgia, and it happened to be on the anniversary of my daughter's death. So in communication over time, I got this message from my daughter that it was longer than this, but primarily she said, "Mom, remember," she identified all the players in The Wizard of Oz, and then she goes, "But Mom, you're the wizard." I was like, where am I in the story? You know, I was feeling victimized by the own, you know what I mean? It was like, there I was, where am I in the story? She goes, "Mom, remember." "No, Mom, you're the wizard. But remember, the wizard is fake." See, because our outside wizards, the doctor, the teachers, our husbands, all these people that we give all of our power to, the power is within.
That's right.
So Dorothy went home. Did you see the spiral in the beginning? All the meanings of this spiritual transformational journey is in this story. the spiraling in, the mandalas that show the inward spiral, is going inward and discovering who we are and our own healing power. So let's look at what else is in this story. So the call to adventure, Dorothy decided she was going to run away from home, right? Remember that? And then she refuses the call. It's often when the call is first given, but the hero refuses to heed it, right? She decides to go back, right? But then the tornado comes and takes her away to the land of Oz. How many of you refused, in part, the realities in the beginning that you had a child with special needs or disabilities or what, right? The refusal. Motherhood is by nature a call to adventure. We go on and we chose motherhood, and it's a box of chocolates, right? And so and then we kind of refuse the call, like, oh no, I didn't plan on that life, right? And Joseph Campbell says this great passage that says, you know, to really live life, you have to live the life you have and give up the one you planned for. Right? So the refusal is like, no, 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 I didn't plan on that life, let me get this life. Or the fear, something holds us back. But then there's a supernatural, yes? Sure. And Joseph Campbell's, in order to live life, because we want to live all of life, right? For the love of life, we want to live all aspects of life, fully, passionately, right? So in order to do that, to live life fully, you have to give up the life that you planned for.
That's right.
And you live the life that you have, the one that is here and now, the one that is in front of you. And live that life fully, because the one you planned didn't show up. That was all in the imagination. We invented that.
It's what God gives you.
Exactly. And however you want to frame that, right? So along the way comes a supernatural ally. The adventurer encounters a protective figure who provides him or her with an amulet, an object to protect him from harm. So what was Dorothy given? The red shoes, right? Here are your red shoes. So many of us have had allies that come to us, mentors, teachers, that have helped us along our journey. The parent-to-parent movement in Florida and the continued movement with Family Cafe and other advocacy groups is that. Let's send in the mentors and help people go further down the path. Many of you are allies for parents who have children younger than your own. And then there's the crossing. The hero commits to leaving the ordinary world. When Dorothy says goodbye, she's up in the tornado, and off she goes, and she lands in the land of Oz. And she confronts. We have to confront the guardian. And sometimes that's our own fear. That may be the doctor, right? How many people have come to terms with doctors and specialists and all of that? We had to kind of confront and regain our own power in all of that, right?
From the church that they don't always know what they're talking about.
Right, right.
You got that?
No, when the doctor says that he knows more than us, you know. I know my son, and the doctor say no. Who's the doctor here, Mrs. Julie? And I say, yeah, no, but I'm the mother, so I take the kid all the time, so I know more than you.
That's right. You're tired.
Right.
I know that COVID is the first.
Yes. It is a struggle, you know, and the more we own our own power in that, we don't need to so much struggle with them. Sometimes the struggle is to convince ourselves that we're right. So when we walk in those full shoes of, you know, I need a collaborative relationship here, and one in which you share your knowledge, because that's why you're there, otherwise where I go, right? And we exchange views. And when we come from that place of power, we're outside of the drama triangle, those doctors that are more willing to collaborate with us will show up. because we're more in a collaborative relationship with them. Yeah? So it's part of a dynamic that's real, but at the same time, it's one that we can fuel in a negative way with our own doubts about whether or not we're right.
And
Yeah.
you know you would know when the doctor connects with you, you'll get that feeling that
Right.
you or her or him or whatever are on the same page. Because if you're not, me personally, get up and walk right out.
Yeah. So you can, we're not seeing eye to eye on this, and you find someone who you can work with. So the belly of the whale is where we travel inward. It's that yellow spiral. We really surrender and do our own inner work, and we begin to realize that the power isn't out there. We surrender to the belly of the whale. The initiation is all about the next steps, the trials and tribulations. Right? We remember Dorothy's, the flying monkeys, the Wicked Witch of the West, and all of that. There was lots of trials and tribulations along the way, which make us stronger. Right? How many people feel that you're stronger from your experience? Yes. See, that's the transformation of the experience that you've been having.
I just made a connection, I think.
Yes.
I never did before. But the flying monkeys might be my two husbands.
Hey, I gotta give you a high five for that.
So, going back to some information, things that Vanessa said earlier too.
Right on.
That's where you give thanks, see, to those trials and tribulations, to those individuals who've come in and have pushed your limits, have caused you to really question and to grow and expand. It is from a place of gratitude that healing happens.
And it's usually from my experience, it's usually the women that take over the kids with special needs, because I'm not talking for everybody, but I know some people, the bodies can't handle it, it's too much, and they do all kinds of things. They cheat, they drink, they lie, they do drugs, and I got rid of mine, but, because he couldn't handle having a child with special needs. But if he would have hung in there, especially my child, and he hasn't seen his child in 11 years because of that.
See,
So you
people
gotta get
have,
rid of
yes,
all that bad stuff.
he had a call to adventure too,
That's right.
of fatherhood,
That's right.
right? And so we can see where people don't answer the call.
That's right. He's answering the call now, big time.
So it is, we can come with compassion when we see that it's not a call that everybody can step up to the plate to answer.
But they answer it later in life, when it's a little bit too late, when the woman is doing everything, and then the man wants to step in. Now it's too late, for me at least.
And it can feel like it is too late. We end up so further down the path, and they're back here, and there can be feeling a dissonance, right? So if we go back to the stages, they're just answering the call, but you've been through all the trials and tribulations, you've been into the belly of the whale, you've done interpersonal work, you've stepped up with your own power, you begin to problem solve and network and create, opportunity where there was only challenge, and then someone's just answering the call. So there's a dissonance, and everybody responds to that differently.
Okay, so what do you do, and what do you do when I'm further along than he is? He's back here and I'm all the way up here. So what do you do?
Yeah. Well, there's no one answer to that, right? What I can tell you from all the research on healing, wellness, happiness, stress, all of that, the place coming back to the green, the heart, yeah, And finding that place of compassion, first and foremost for ourselves. And then when we feel that compassion for ourselves, for all that we have not been able to do, right? So it's that forgiveness of self and that compassion for self, an acceptance of a self, and that is even a further, that's a complete surrendering.
That's what in my church, everybody keeps on saying, it goes back to God, and you have to forgive and forgive. But it's been such a long time, I still cannot forgive him. But if I can get to that point where I can forgive,
Right.
then I think I'll be at that point where I can go forward. But
So,
I'll stop right now.
Perfect. Because it is the Jesus story, it's the Buddha story, it's the story of Moses.
That's right.
The hero's journey are also in our religious paradigms, right? Our understandings, our cosmology. So there is an atonement. And the atonement further down the road, you'll see that here, but we'll kind of jump to that. The atonement with the Father, and it's just, we think of, because it's old mythology, right? So typically it's the Father, but it's Mother Earth, it's Father Sky. It's that atonement, realizing that that force outside of ourselves is merciful, is forgiving, right? Jesus to the Father, forgive me. The atonement at 1 minute. Atonement at 1 minute. Pat brought up oneness. Vanessa talked about oneness. Dana talked about wholeness. All the same. It is that oneness and knowing that we are all one. And that there is this greater force that holds us together in a harmonic way. And that this force, I call it universal force energy, God energy, pure love energy, is merciful, is forgiving, is pure love. There's no fear in atonement. So when we can atone, because that mercifulness, that forgiving person is here and there. It's a mirror, within and without. So it means when we get to that point of forgiving self, being merciful with self, we will find the Father that's merciful. It is that mirror, and we surrender to that. And then we come home, we return home with the boon that we came seeking for. So the boon, we can imagine for Pat, she told her story, and her boon was her compassion for herself, I think, right? That was her kind of her soul's gift. So it is to ask yourself, you're on this journey, where am I? Have I really come to atonement at one with my own self, in forgiving my own self, being merciful with my own self, my own limitations, and what I'm able to do? We're here in human form, yeah? And surrender into that full oneness, knowing that in that oneness we know all is well. All is well. That we're protected, we're loved, and we're one with the most powerful force possible. And we return home, then the hero returns home to share his gifts. Buddha, right? Buddhism all over the world, Christianity all over the world, right? Dorothy goes home and shares her gift. What was Dorothy's boon in Wizard of Oz? What was her spiritual gift at the soul level, do you think? For those who remember.
To appreciate her own what she had.
Yeah, right. Yeah, appreciate her own and what she had. She came home and said, the same mother and father, right? They didn't change. She changed. And so we give up the controlling outside of ourselves to create change. If my husband would, wash the dishes, I'd be happy. I'd go like, give it up. He may not, or if this, if my child can achieve that, I'm happy. If my child can do that, I'm happy. If I can get this for my child, I'll be happy. That road is endless.
That's right. It is.
There is another thing that you're going to need to get happy till the end of your day. It has nothing to do about anything external. It is coming home here. And that's where we find happiness. And so that is the hero's journey. I invite you to take out your journals. And I'm probably running out of time. I'm going to ask for time in a minute. And take out your journals. And there's ways that, see, there's two things we're gonna do today. To lift the veil between the unconscious world and our conscious world. So there's an invisible world in our own self, in our own mind. All those thoughts and feelings, the song we can't find that we know is down there that we want to sing, it's lost in the unconscious world. And we can lift the veil in a variety of ways. And one of the ways is to write your own story, but as a once upon a time story. And you just write whatever flows from your heart. And we're going to ask you to write 3 paragraphs. And imagine how many people feel they're on a hero's journey? You see yourself along this path. Okay, good. So, 30? Okay. Imagine you're along this path, and many of you have reached, how many have given your gifts to others? Yeah, right? Okay. But maybe there's parts of that path that you completely haven't surrendered to. Doesn't have to be in your story. See, I was leading all kinds of things when my daughter passed away at age 12, very suddenly, unexpectedly. And I went around this hero's journey again. I didn't even know it existed at the time. And there I found, probably I'm in the oof,
That's okay. You're fine.
in the midst of the atonement, right? Where you just give it up. So you just walk fearlessly. That's what you want to do. You want to just surrender so you can walk fearlessly for your child and for other children. Yeah. So we come back, but we can be maybe over caretaking and total over rescuing and taking care of the world, but we've forgotten ourselves along the way. And that was my reality. I'm not saying it's yours. But when my daughter died and I had to begin healing without her, without all that focused attention on her life, I was left with what? Myself. That's all I had. And then you just dig a little bit deeper. So one way that we can lift this invisible realm to find what's stirring, bubbling underneath this, is to write a mythic story. Okay? So I invite you right now to write your story. You have your journal, and you begin it with, once upon a time, there was a woman who left her familiar surroundings in search of what? What are you in search of? And just let it flow. We're going to take 10 minutes. Okay? So open up your journals and begin this story. Once upon a time, write it down. There was a woman who left her familiar surroundings in search of, and just see what comes up. So another way that I want to bring to you today to lift the veil so that we can transfer ourselves, experience ourselves into I call the invisible world. where there is this complete oneness. In quantum physics, it's called the unified field. It's what's been talked about and known about from the beginning of healing traditions, which is what shamans, the name shaman, represents someone who's a traditional healer and bridges that world between the invisible world where all infinity exists and our material world. But see, we can travel there. Some of you traveled there today with color, with Vanessa, into that place of oneness and where you merge with your own soul's desire and messages. Yeah? How many people experience that? Just some form of a message from within that really you didn't know was there. So in journeys and in your journal, you have a CD I created especially for the summit. And it is 6 different shamanic journeys, 1 track that is pure drumming, and then 1 track that's beautiful. I did it years ago with Brazilian voices who will be here at Family Cafe. Maybe you've heard them sing. Awesome musicians, and actually their sound engineer helped me create this CD. Journeying is, for a shamanic journey, is when you let go of the mind and you let the heart travel. And we do that through sound and color. The sound of a rattle or drum at a certain beat, the same beat as the Mother Earth, relaxes the left brain, and it activates the right. It lets the right have its say. Let me have a word today, right? The busy logic mind is there all the time, and we're all exhausted from it, right? We live in a left brain world. It's only recognized left brain world, really, right now going on. So we journey with sound. So I'm going to ask Susan to turn the lights down. I have brought a rattle, and a journey is with guided imagery. So you just get into a relaxed position. Just very relaxed. And it is a healing journey in which you're going to meet a spiritual ally that will come to you on this journey. You may just sense someone, you may see someone, but it'll be an ally, a mentor, someone there to help you that dwells within the spiritual realm. See, we have tons of help. We know, ask and it is given. But we have to ask. And we connect with those on the spiritual level, realm, that are there to assist. We can call them angels, we can call them guides, we may be ancestors, loved ones who passed away. So I take you on a guided journey, and with a rattle, and just, I know many of you may be in doubt and what is this and what is it. You know, if you just allow your mind to relax, and you come into relaxation, and then your mind may wander and create a story. I don't get it, I can't put it on, this isn't making sense. But then come back to the rattle, and just listen to the rattle. And then you may go in story and come back. No? We're going to go and we're going to start in a meadow. And this is all about 10 minutes long, but time doesn't exist here. So we're going to start in a meadow, and we're going to go to a tree. And what shamans travel into the upper realms, into the spiritual realm, by many means. One is a tornado, interesting enough, as did Dorothy. But we're going to travel up through the tree to the treetop, and then we will go up even higher into the higher realms. And I will guide you. And at some point, when you cross a transition, we will ask that your spiritual helper, your supernatural ally, as found in all transformational stories throughout time, appear to you and take you to a healing garden that will appear. It's going to be different for everyone. And there, you ask for the healing that comes to your heart, but it may be to dissolve any of those disempowering relationships in your life, just to wash them away. Any disempowering relationships, or anything else that comes to mind. Know that whether you are fully engaged or not, this healing takes place. Oh, yes, lots of flashes. Okay, yes. Busy flash today. Okay. Ready? Any questions? Just listen and relax. Minimally, you're going to have a very deep, relaxing experience. You find yourself in a meadow. You look down at your feet and you see that you're barefoot, and you can feel the hard-trodden earth underneath your feet. You continue down the path, noticing the different shades of colors. The greens, the yellows. Maybe there's flowers. What do you see? Maybe it's a place you've been before. What sounds do you hear? Birds chirping. Crickets. You feel the sun on your skin, the warmth of the sun. You continue down your path, being drawn towards an ancient tree. Come closer, you realize its magnificence, the width of the tree. You walk around the tree looking for an entrance. And it appears, and you enter. You walk inside, and you enter the tree. And you begin to travel up the veins of the tree. You're pulled up and up and up through the trunk of the tree. And you come out and you're on the branches, and you continue to travel up the branches. Higher and higher you go. The top of the tree, the very tricky top, you dive off into the atmosphere and continue your journey upward. You may feel pulled. You may see all blackness or stars, planets. You may feel you're in another galaxy. You continue to travel. When you reach a transition, a cloud forms, maybe it's a misty area, when you pass through it, your mentor will appear to you, an ally who is there on your behalf. And in human form. Someone you see, or maybe just a presence you feel. Ask him or her, are you my mentor? He or she says yes. You ask, if no, continue traveling. Your mentor will appear to you. Trust that your mentor is with you as you travel to a healing area. A waterfall, a crystal cave, a sacred altar. Now rather as you are there, and ask for a healing right now. Right now. Whatever is heavy on your heart, surrender to letting it go. To being at one with your own divine self, the powerful self. Knowing you're guided and loved, protected by unseen forces at all times. Time to leave now. You thank your mentor and you retrace your steps back through the cloud or misty transition. Descending, traveling down, back, retrace your steps to the top of the tree, down the branches. Down into the trunk of the tree, your own tree of life. Back into the meadow. Retracing back into the room. Thank you, thank you, thank you. For the assistance, for being here, for life. And say we come back from journeys ready to seize life, like the jaguar seizes the neck of an antelope. His gut says, no doubt. Declare your passion. Declare your pursuit. Declare a commitment to your own self. Declare a separation, a being from the ones you love. Knowing that in the separation you will hold your true power. You will be of most good. You will have the clarity of mind and spirit and heart to guide and to be a mentor to all of those seeking you, the hero. The one who knows all about trials and tribulations, surrender, atonement, poem I wrote. Nonchalantly, really. I love poetry. It's a way in which I connect with my soul. Recently in a class I took on spiritual writing, helping me prepare for your handout today, and it's there for you on how to make most use of your journal. There's many prompts and many different ideas there, but I love poetry, and what I heard recently is that poetry is like a shamanic journey, in that the rhythm of the poem itself, like the rattle, lifts that veil between our left brain and our right, our mind and our soul. It lifts it because our unconscious is caught up in rhythm, and it's not blocking anything. It's listening to the rhythm of the poem. So it came as a surprise. If I get to the poem, through the poem, it will also be a surprise. But I wrote about the prompt, what's your burning passion? And for those who know me, know that I've moved a lot. And I'm hoping to be a speaker on cruise ships and spiritualism and shamanic and healing as a wellness person. So it's in my story. And this is to encourage you to use poetry. This took me 5 minutes, and it was such a ha-ha. What burning passion drives me, I will never, never tell. It is hidden deep within my soul. Not to you or anyone else. It is forbidden. But tell me now, you say, begging me in that way. I don't even know myself. I'm discovering it on this very page today. Right? Every day is a new day. We can be way down the journey, and it's a new day, a new dawn, a new beginning, a new aha. I don't even know myself. I'm discovering it on this very page today. I got teary-eyed and I tried to hide, but out it wanted to come. I was waiting there, you see. It wanted to reveal itself to me. My burning passion is hidden deep, covered with soot, worn out tires, moving boxes, and soon ships. It wants to reveal itself to me, coming out of hiding before I'm deceased. A burning passion to be free. So imagine anything else, what could come out of that, right? A burning passion to be free of me. I was like, whoa. Running to see if I can leave her behind. She isn't even of my own kind. How many people feel like you are the oddball? You were born in the family and what you didn't deserve. You've always been the oddball, you know, right? And then you go and have a child that's an oddball. I mean, how many people have felt like that, right? A burning passion to be free of me, running to see if I can leave her behind. She isn't even of my own kind. Her hair is a mess, her legs too long, her feet are mammoth, and she can't sing a song. I wish I were different somehow, a burning passion to leave me behind, with worn out shoeboxes, petticoats, dresses, makeup color in my fake nails. A burning passion to leave all those dreadfuls behind, just carrying forth a pleasant facade. But they are here, knocking on my door, longings, desires, empty hope chests, fears of loss, of new friendships acquired. Then comes the message. Take risks, my dear. I hear someone say, running won't make them all go away. Right. Write poetry. Use your journals. Draw mandalas. Use color. Let the soul emerge. Be gentle with yourself. It is through compassion with self, a mercifulness within ourselves, that we can begin to really soar in ways that we never hoped for, dreamed possible. We have the power within ourselves. Put on your red shoes, flick them 3 times, and to come home to self. Thank you. So the other truth about this work is that after you do journey work, you're very hungry. So we have Alina Z, who's coming up, and it's always a delight to be in her presence. She's an award-winning, board-certified health coach, chef, detox specialist, and creator of #1 Diet in America, as selected by Harper's Bazaar magazine. Alina Z's unique approach to food says that creating a healthy diet is like choosing the fashions that fill your closet. To fit well, your diet has to reflect your unique personality and lifestyle. It's a philosophy she calls couture nutrition. And sharing it with others is also her passion, which you just will fall in love with Alina. All of our evaluations said Alina, Alina, Alina last year. When you understand food through fashion, you learn realistic ways to boost your energy, control your weight, and look simply fabulous. But just in 2009, Alina was a marketing executive who had a bad relationship with desserts and didn't even know how to peel a shallot. And she's going to tell us really what a shallot is also. She found her way to peace with food and happiness, and loves to help others achieve it also. Alina Z.
This takes more time than cooking. Okay, all right. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Let me just test this. This is working. Oh, it's working. Okay, so believe it or not, I wasn't always this cute. You know, I used to be a VP of marketing for a large catering company. Overworked, overeating, unhealthy, unhappy, and I did have a bad relationship with sugar because I became addicted to it. And have you ever had this time at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, about now, where you're like, oh my God, you're just so tired, right? You know what it feels like. And so I've struggled with that. I tried every single diet, from Atkins, where you don't eat anything but protein, to Zone, where you count 30% protein, 30% fat, 40% carbs, like way too much math. I tried the Gillian Michaels diet. There was way too many items to cook. I tried the carbohydrates addicts diet. That didn't work either because I just went right back to overeating, and I kept losing the same 10, 20 pounds over and over again. And then I tried this thing where you don't eat anything. You just drink lemonade with lemon juice, water, cayenne pepper, and maple syrup. And you know how much weight I lost in 10 days of just drinking that? 1 pound. So I was like, okay, well, this doesn't really work. So I tried the French women don't get fat diet, where you eat everything you want, but teeny tiny little bit. That didn't work. And I'm like, what is going on? There's something that's not right, because every single book about health and nutrition that you read does not have your name on it, right? And here's a group of people, mostly women, right? All those women here, any men here? No, okay, cool. So women especially, you know, and here you have special circumstances. You're taking care of someone, or you yourself have a disability. And these books, these diet books, don't tell you how to live in your own life. And have you ever felt like you come home and you're tired, and you have so much to do, and you're already exhausted, and you know you should be eating something healthy, but you don't have time and you don't have the budget, and you're like, oh, screw it. I'm gonna have something that's quick and easy, that's already there, that I already know because it's convenient, right? But then we'll think, well, I should have done better. We all can do better, right? And so it also comes down to, how do we feel? Because yes, I can tell you, eat fruits and vegetables, don't eat junk food, done. We're done
every minute, okay? This is it. But we all know that. We all know the fruits and vegetables are good, processed sugars are bad. Why do we still go back to the things that don't serve us? And there are good reasons for that, and we'll explore that a little bit. But most of all, I want to explore how can we do what serves us. So I'll tell you, I will go through this, and we'll do Q&A now too and later. And as we flow with it, think of questions that you might have, and don't be afraid to raise your hand. So we'll just go in really quickly through this, and then we'll eat, I promise. I have samples. I was cooking up in the back, and super, super easy. So I'm going to talk to you about reducing, 3 key approach: reduce energy-stealing foods, increase energy-boosting foods, and provide easy and realistic energizing meals. So think about money. You guys know, you have $10 and you think, I'm going to invest $5. So you give somebody $5 and they only give you 2 back. How much money do you have? $7, right? You had 10, now you have 7. You gave some away, you got a little bit back. That's not a really good investment, right? But if you have $10 and you give somebody $5 and they give you $10 back, now you have 20. I mean 15, right? 15. 15. Right. I'm not really good with math. That's why diet didn't work for me. And counting those calories does not work. So, but you know the idea. If you get more from what you invest, that's a good approach. So I'm going to talk about foods that steal your energy. So energy is like money. Calories, energy is like money to your cells. Your body needs energy. And like you work for money, your cells and your body works when you give it energy. That's why when we drink Coke or sugar, you get energy and caloric value, so you have energy. But there are foods that steal your energy. So look at this cute little lion and a lovely elephant. And I'll tell you a really cool story that to me stuck, and I tell this, maybe some of you have been here last time, I saw some familiar faces, but I talk about it in repeating, because that's how we learn. I mean, when we were kids, we didn't just learn 2 + 2 is 4, class dismissed, you graduate. We keep learning and learning. So remember, this is a very important thing. And this is a great visual. What do lions do after they eat meat?
Sleep.
To sleep for 24 hours, right? And elephants are plant-based. They eat vegetables, mostly grass, and they keep moving and moving. And you're like, well, I'm not an elephant, Alina, hello. I get that, but we have most of our DNA with chimps and gorillas, and they are mostly plant-based. I'm saying mostly because I'm not vegan. I tried the vegan diet. It doesn't work for me. However, mostly plant-based gives us energy. It's not about what the doctor said you should do. And that's why I don't like to say I'm a health coach. I'm a chef. I don't want to should on you. You already have a lot of responsibilities in your life. You don't need to add another thing to your list of have to do, should do, need to do. This is a pleasure, this is a choice, this is because you want to have energy, not because you have to do it. Okay, and because we're not elephants or lions, let's think about us. What happens when we eat turkey on Thanksgiving? Sleep, right? Who has energy? And you know why? Because that takes a lot of time to digest. Animal protein simply takes a long, long time to process. It's just the nature of it. Plants don't take so much. And this guy right here, he is 180 days old. And you can do this experiment yourself. You can buy a burger and leave it. And a friend of mine had a 5-year-old burger in her garage, and it didn't change. It didn't age at all. And I don't know if it had a smell even, because it's not even food. So, so think about this. The little microscopic brainless bacteria doesn't want to eat that because it doesn't want to be tired. Okay, and then we do, and then we feel tired, and then later on we get tired from digesting all the food. So remember how I said you have $10, you give away 5, and you get 2 back? That's the same here. You give your energy to digest the meat, and then the meat gives you energy to live. But the energy doesn't equate. That's why we're tired. But then we eat certain foods, and they give us a lot of energy for very little energy to digest. That's why we have energy. We don't need to sleep as much. Does it make sense? So also products that cause quick highs and sharp lows. You know, I'm guilty of this myself. I'm not perfect, let me tell you, okay? I ate dessert, I had chocolate mousse yesterday. I don't like to be on a diet ever again, but the demons are still there. But I know that if I drink a sugary drink, I will get that high, but then it will bring me lower even, because my body doesn't really need anything else in it besides the sugar. It doesn't get any benefits. But to process that stuff takes a lot of your energy. And that energy can go towards something else. It can go towards healing. It can go towards taking care of your loved ones. That energy that you are giving away to food can be used on something that you actually want to spend it on. So to get to the energy, to energize the body, we need antioxidants, phytonutrients, vitamins, minerals, protein, pretty much this, fruits and vegetables. I mean, it's super easy stuff, but if you think about it, oh, I need to eat a banana, but I really want to eat a Danish, right? I've been there. Look, listen, have a banana and then half a Danish, but don't do it from the perspective you should or you have to, because again, the biggest thing that I want to leave you with, don't ever shoot on yourself. You already have so much responsibility in your life. You already have so much you're giving of yourself, so this is a gift to you. This is a gift to your loved ones. If you think of someone taking care of your loved ones, don't you want that person to be energetic, happy, have energy to take care of them? And this is the food that gives you that. That's the food that energizes you. And then a lot of people say, well, okay, protein. What about protein? Plants don't really have protein. And then we think about, again, elephants. They don't look deficient in protein, and that poor gorilla that got shot a few weeks ago, 400 pounds, right? Guess what he was eating? Plants. So plants have protein, and I'll show you my favorite ones: beans, hemp seeds, eggs, and sprouts. And you don't need to take notes because A, I have recipe cards for you for the recipe I'm gonna make, protein rich. And then all of these foods are also on the card that's there, the foods that love your body. Because it's all about love. It's about loving yourself with food. So one thing I want you to think about when you look at these, they have one thing in common. Do you know what it is? Besides that they're all oval in the beginning, they are creating life. So beans created life for the plant, right? Hemp seeds, I love hemp seeds for two reasons. A, they're really high in protein, but B, they're high in magnesium. And this is hemp that's legal, like, you know, it's hemp that people smoke, right? Different, okay, that's different hemp. This is the hemp seeds you can buy at any grocery store. You can buy them online. You don't have to go to a grocery store. But they have magnesium, so if you think people who smoke weed, they feel relaxed, right? They don't go, oh, I should smoke weed or I have to smoke weed. They go, I want to smoke weed because I want to relax. So hemp seeds give you magnesium and they help you relax and relax your muscles, relax your mind. So I love hemp seeds, and they're high protein. So just don't confuse the hemp seeds with the hemp. Eggs also create life. And the reason being why I chose this, because one little sprout, one egg, it knows, you know, what the chicken is going to look like, or the bean knows how many branches the plant is going to have. The seed knows how many branches that plant is going to have. And then sprouts, you can see that a lot, don't you, when you see little tiny plants growing through asphalt or trees growing through asphalt. Like, imagine this. There's gravity. If I drop this, it's going to fall, right? But these plants, these tiny little guys, they sprout so much energy that it moves asphalt and it goes against gravity. Like, imagine the force of breaking ground. And then they say you are what you eat. So don't you want to have the energy and the life and the levity? Not because you should, but because you want to have that energy. It's all for you. It's all available. And for those of you who are on a budget, let's talk about budget. If you go to Publix, if you live in this area, Giant, Safeway, any grocery store, and you know how they sell $1 a pound dry beans? Super cheap, and then a pain in the butt to cook because they take forever. So here's what you do. You buy 1 pound of lentils. And there's a video on my website. You can get my card. Don't have to remember this. But 1 pound of lentils is $1. Okay, $1. All you do is you put it in water, leave it overnight. The next day you drain it into a colander, any colander. You don't need any fancy schmancy equipment. You rinse them, you leave them. That night you have 4 pounds of sprouts for $1. Of sprouts that give you energy, that give you levity, that make you feel good. And all you have to do, open the bag, dump the bag, put the water, so everybody can do this, right? Pretty easy, like you buy in the car. You just put the water, then you rinse it, then you put the water, and you rinse it, and then you eat it. Super, super simple. So, but this is the food that gives you energy. With me so far?
Yeah.
And it's all on my website. You don't need to take notes. There's cards with all the foods that love you. Super easy. Now let's talk about vitamin power. We have strawberries, oranges, peppers, kale, mangoes, and we need vitamins. You know, we have every single cell that needs energy from the vitamins. Now, anybody here drink orange juice, like from Tropicana, right? So, unfortunately, even though it might look like a good idea, I would rather you save the money. A couple of reasons. One, the juice is pasteurized with heat. That means all of the vitamins are gone. Okay? Adios, exactly. All the vitamins are gone in the juice. Two, if you compare the juice sugar to Coke, you'll be surprised how close it is. Okay, so, and then three, it has no fiber, so that sugar goes right into your bloodstream. So I would rather you save money, buy an orange at Costco. Costco is my favorite place to shop. It's cheap, it's quick, you buy a lot of stuff, oranges don't go bad, right? And this way you get the vitamins, you get the fiber, you get quick and easy snack. And when people say, well, I need something fast, I like fast food. Like McDonald's is not fast food. That food takes forever to process, and you have to drive there, and you have to give them a lot of money. It's still a lot of money. But let's say orange, that's fast food. That's the original fast food. Bananas are the original fast food. 33 cents for a banana, you can have 3 bananas, and you're thinking, okay, that's a lot of sugar. Compare the sugar in bananas to Coke. Compare how fast that sugar will get into your bloodstream and leave you tired. Compare that to Coke, how quickly that will go into your bloodstream, give you a high and give you a down. So I'd rather you save the dollar, buy bananas, have the bananas, because they love you and they give you vitamins, they give you phytonutrients, they also give you minerals. It's all for you, it's all available. It's not because you have to, not because you should, but because it's life transforming. And think about this. Everything you put in your mouth, everything you eat becomes your blood, becomes your organs, becomes your tissue, becomes your cells, becomes your thoughts, and your thoughts lead to your actions, and your actions create your life. So thinking back to the Thanksgiving dinner, when we eat the turkey, do we want to create anything? Do we want to help anybody? Do we have energy to do anything but sleep and watch TV? Turkey makes us tired, creates certain actions, certain results. But if you eat an orange or banana or broccoli, we think differently, don't we? We have more energy. Somebody here, I'm not going to disclose names, shared that she's trying vegan diet, having more energy. It's like, well, I'm so surprised. Where's this energy coming from? The food that you eat changes your life. It transforms your life. It might sound so simple, you know, don't eat the Danish, don't eat a burger, eat bananas and strawberries. Bananas are not on it, but you know, you get the idea. But it changes everything because it changes you. And we all can make little changes. I'm not saying eat bananas every single meal, although there is a girl who eats 30 bananas a day. And she's, yes, her name is Freely, she's a banana girl. I have friends who eat 20 bananas a day. They're cuckoo. They need some steak, okay? They do, because overeating anything, like, you know, people say, well, isn't this bad for you? I'm like, water is bad for you. If you drink too much water, it's bad for your kidneys. Sleeping is bad for you. If you sleep for 24 hours, it's bad for you. Kissing is bad for you. If you kiss for 24 hours, you're gonna be like, oh my God, I'm so tired, I'm swollen, I need to go pee. Right? So told me to eat this or that. I am asking you to try it on. When Paula introduced me, she said couture nutrition, and you might be wondering what the heck is that. But nobody here is wearing the same exact outfit. I see similar colors, similar styles, we're all dressed for the same occasion. But we all listen to ourselves and say, well, I feel like wearing a beautiful coral color, or black, or I want a warm sweater, or I want something light. Same applies to food. I'm here to introduce food to you, and then you try it on. You go to your kitchen and use it as a fitting room. You go to your grocery store and you try things on. You try foods on, and then you see how you feel. Maybe eating bananas and oranges and strawberries on a sunny day in Florida is a great idea, but eating that in the morning in Boston in January, not so much, because it's cold in Boston. But I have a solution for you, so we'll continue with that, okay? But this is the idea. This is what we need to get energy. This is what we deserve. Body strengthening superfoods. I love superfoods, and I used to live in DC, and when I was overworked and always getting sick, I went to see the doctor, Dr. Pappas in Virginia. And I go to the doc, I'm like, Doc, I'm sick, I have this, I have that, I had IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, I was always getting sick, I had colds all the time, I need medicine. And he goes, here, buy this. He gives me a prescription for this, for the Greens Plus superfoods. And I'm like, dude, really? You're a doctor, you're an MD, give me pills. He's like, no, eat that. Do you think I went and bought it? Nope. I didn't. And do you think I got better? Nope. And then later, I was like, wow, Dr. Pappas was right. But I had to try it on. I had to do it on my journey. But I want to share that with you, because if I tell you this, someone else tells you that, it's repetition, it's repetition, it's repetition. And when people say, well, common sense is not common practice, I believe for one big reason is because the common practice is not enjoyable. You know, we don't go and say, well, I have to practice drinking a glass of wine every night. You know, I have to have a Coke, or I have to have a cake. We don't put it as like, wow, I really have to do that, because we see the benefit of it, and so we practice that. But if you practice something yummy, like these green superfoods, they come in chocolate flavor, or they come in vanilla chai, you know, finding what fits you, what makes you feel good, and then seeing the benefits of what you get out of it, that's how we continue with the common practice. Because I'll tell you common sense, but until it becomes your common practice, it's nothing. And until it becomes fun and enjoyable, it's not going to do anything. So I want you to start thinking, what can you do? And even if you just do one thing, if you take away one thing, it's going to be worth it. I talk about salad booster. You can buy these things online. Spirulina and chlorella, some dulse, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds. You can sprinkle that onto any salad, and that will be a superfood salad. And then you already did something better for your body. And if you're wondering what the heck are those things, spirulina, chlorella, and dulse, those are superfoods. Amazon. Cheap, easy, you don't have to look for it in the aisle. What you need to know is that it boosts your energy, because it's all about energy, purifies your blood, helps you get rid of heavy metals, and makes you feel good. And it doesn't really taste bad, it tastes like salt. So this is another thing that I recommend. And then heart healthy chili. Dane in the back is going to be putting it in cups and passing it around in a second. So I'm going to show you how I made this. And I've made it on TV, and my cameraman Mike, he goes, Alina, this is vegan stuff. I'm like, well, do you want to try it or not? And he goes, all right, fine, I'll try anything. And he makes his face like, wow, this is pretty good. It was the best compliment I got from him. So if you think about chili making, and a lot of people say, well, I want to take time, I want to cook, but do we really have time to cook? Like, who has time to cook? So you can time me and see how long this takes. I say 3 minutes, because opening this takes about a minute, and then warming it up takes 2, but I don't have the hot plate here. But you'll see how long this takes. This is a 79-cent can of organic beans. You can buy 50-cent cans. Anybody can do this, but if you don't want to do this, opening it with a can opener, you can get those cans that have a little pull-up tab. So this is easy, okay? Those people who say they don't know how to cook, this is for you, because as I said, I used to not know how to cook. And I made a soup, and I didn't feel a shallot. And my friend was eating my soup and I blended everything. She's like, what is this? I'm like, it's a shallot. She goes, did you peel it? I'm like, I didn't know you were supposed to. And then I had a TV show. And she says, Alina, how can you have a TV show if you don't know how to cook? I said, exactly that's why, because if I can do it, so can you. So trust me, you can do this, okay? I don't even need my apron. So this is salsa. This is expensive salsa for $2.99. Organic. I bought medium. You can buy whichever salsa you want. You can buy whichever beans you like. Again, this is not about me. It's about you and what you like. Mixed it up. So see, someone already did the work. They cut up the tomatoes, they put the onion, the peppers, what else, vinegar, tomato paste. Like everyone done the work for us. We just need to put it all together like an outfit. Like you don't think like I'm gonna wear a skirt today, so I'm gonna make a skirt, right? You go and buy the skirt. So make it easy for you. And this is one of my favorite things. And you'll get the cards with the recipe, super easy. This is Beyond Beef, made with pea protein. 1 cup has 26 grams of protein.
Like green pea?
Green peas.
Okay,
Just check. It's made from peas. Yes. Good question. Okay, green peas. Very good. And here's how you cook it. I'm not that crazy. This is good stuff. So it looks like meat. Okay, you'll see it when you get your samples. It looks like meat. You can buy this at Target. You can buy this at Target. It's super easy. There's no soy. There's no gluten. The little offenders that are too heavy for us to process most of the time. And then this is what you do. You mix it like this. And then it's done. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Ta-da. That's it. I know people like, Alina, you're a chef. I'm like, I know I'm a chef and I can make this from scratch. But it's not about me, it's about you. And you have so much already going on in your lives that how long did it take me to make this? Right? And this serves.
You use more time to open the can.
Exactly, you do. You do. Can opening takes a lot of time. So this is your biggest problem here with this recipe, the can opening. But I bought it on purpose to show you that it can be time consuming. This serves 4, 5, 6 people. You can put it on rice. You can put some Daiya cheese, which is a vegan cheese alternative. You can put regular cheese if you want to. But this is quick, this is easy, this is rich in protein, this is rich in fiber. Lycopene is good for the heart. Fiber slows down the release of sugar. You feel full, you feel satisfied. Because it is planned, we're not going to fall asleep like we do after Thanksgiving. We're actually going to have energy. So this food loves you back. I talk about food that loves your body because some foods abuse us. You know, they might look really pretty, but then they're mean to us. They, A, make us bloated, they make us gain weight, they make us feel really bad after, we feel guilty. It's like an abusive relationship. It's true, right? Now, you know how you go on a date with somebody, you don't know that they're bad news yet, but you have fun on the first date, like a bad boy, bad girl, whatever. The same here. You can go and have a one-night stand with a cheesecake, with a burger, but once, okay? You don't have a relationship with them. That's the big distinction. It's not about perfection. It's not about 100% goody-goody two-shoes. It's not. You know, I ate a piece of steak for the first time in 6 years in January, and my body needed it, and that's what I had. Am I going to eat it every day? No, because I didn't feel so great after, but something in it my body needed. And I bought the best quality and I blessed it and I said thank you, but I listened to my body, and sometimes my body wants a cheesecake and sometimes my body wants ice cream and brownie. And I have a 3-minute brownie that I did last year on recipe for her. Was good. So that's so simple and you still satisfy your sweet tooth, but you know what? Sometimes you just want to say, okay, this is what I'm craving, this is what I want, but you don't have a relationship with that. It's about loving yourself with food that loves you. Does it make sense?
Yes.
So this says it saves you time, gives you energy, it's on a budget, right? 50 cents, $2 to 50. This is like $5, so $7.50. And you can buy rice for like $1 a bag. Sorry, photo op. So this is $7, $8 energy. I think it's a pretty good deal. So that's the recipe, 1 can or box. I love boxed beans instead of canned because they don't have the aluminum, but these are BPA-free, organic, but even Goya now makes organic beans with no BPA. So, do what's best for you, because even if you buy canned with aluminum, let me tell you, this is going to be better than eating meat. Because meat, cows, where do cows get their protein? From plants. So why go through the dealer? Go through the actual source. Go for the plants. And right, and then cows, unfortunately, are treated so badly. They eat junk. They have steroids, antibiotics, all kinds of stuff besides draining our energy to digest them. But they have medicines and all these things that pollute your body. And when your body is busy trying to get rid of the steroids and antibiotics and the hormones and all the stuff that comes in with the meat, then your body is not busy healing you. Your body is not busy helping your loved ones. Your body is not energized. Does it make sense?
Very good.
So, let's say you don't want to cook at all. Like, you're like, Alina, this takes too much time. 3 minutes is too much. And you're like, I don't need a salad, because it's kind of not for everybody. This is what I do. I make smoothies. Any blender, even in Target, Bed Bath & Beyond, $20 blender will get you free time. Because you can buy frozen fruits and vegetables in Costco, again, saving you time. You don't have to have fresh produce if you don't want to. Put them into a blender. Put mangoes, like there are mangoes in the salad. Bananas, strawberries, there's recipes on my Facebook and my page and my YouTube. Blend the sucker and then drink it like a milkshake. With some almond milk, vanilla, put some chocolate in it, whatever it is. But this is how you get your energy, because you blend it, your body doesn't need to break it down and digest, it just absorbs the nutrients. So this is the green smoothie. It's blended drink that is made with whole fruits, whole leafy greens, milk, water, and supplemental powders. And I put mine in a margarita glass because I can, and so can you. And it's much better than margarita. And you know what people say also, like you drink martinis or you drink alcoholic beverages, and I say, well, does vodka taste good? They're like, no, yeah, but martini tastes good, right? But not regular martinis with the olives, but martinis with juice or like margaritas and the blended drinks. You don't really taste the alcohol, you taste the juice, right? But you drink them because alcohol makes you forget stuff and makes you relax. You can look at this the same way. The fruits and vegetables the fruits make it tasty, the vegetables give you energy. That's the benefit of it. And then if you don't want to digest it at all, you can drink juice, which is a liquid extracted from fruits and vegetables. So let's see, we have samples. I'm going to pause for a second. It smells good, right?
Yeah.
And you guys, anybody tried it yet? How is it? Good, thumbs up, yay, good. And quick and easy. And there's a card with a recipe. Yeah, make sure to take the cards. Quick and little easy recipe, you can put it in your...
I'm sure you'll answer this, but the beans, you put in everything that the beans were soaking in.
Yes.
Normally you rinse off the beans.
You can,
Why did you do that?
because I don't have a sink.
Okay.
And because, when I'm going to cook it, it's the liquid will make it more volume.
Okay.
You can do that. If you want, actually, like from chickpeas especially, you can reserve that liquid and make meringues from it by adding sugar to it. So I don't even throw it out, but it doesn't make it bad, and I just don't have a sink, and I didn't want to waste it. In the one that you guys are having, I mixed 3 kinds of beans: black beans, kidney beans, and cannellini beans, just to give it a little more pizzazz. You pick whichever beans you like. Yes? Frozen. Yes, or you can buy it online, too.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What if you're allergic to beans?
You're allergic to beans. You're allergic to beans. You can do quinoa. Yeah, can you eat peas?
Nope.
Oh, no peas. So then I would make my raw vegan chili. That is also easy. You chop stuff up and you mix it together and you eat it. It does take a little more time, but if you're allergic to beans or you have special needs, you can come see me if you have questions. But there are ways around it. I work with a client who has 22 foods that she can eat, and so I have to make her food every day, and we figured it out.
Did you cook this or did you just warm it?
That is warm, just warm. You don't need to cook it. Yeah. So you can just warm it up for 2 minutes. You can let it bubble up if you want to make it really hot. It's up to you. You can reheat it. That's the meat. That's the Beyond Beef. It has the texture of the meat. Yeah, it's made out of peas.
Wow.
There's no soy, no gluten. Yes.
Where do you find that?
Frozen section in Target or Publix has it. You can go to their website. It's on the recipe card.
Really good.
The name, Google it. Go to the website, see where they have it in your area. But this is, I had somebody.
Millennium Mall.
Yeah, someone tried it and they bought it in Target and they said it was the cheapest option. So see if you have it in your nearest Target. But how do you guys like it?
Very good.
Right, for quick and easy. Yeah.
It's kind of the same as the veggie crumbles.
So veggie crumbles have soy. There are different brands of veggie crumbles. There is meatless crumbles by Tofurky and by Smart Grounds. And they're great, they're non-GMO, but they have soy, they have more fat. And so I prefer this one because that way we eliminate soy, we eliminate gluten, and it is more friendly for people with special needs.
Thank you.
Yep. And that's actually a good question. When it comes to soy and gluten, people say, oh, gluten-free, and there's actually a video, if you guys want to laugh, how to become gluten intolerant. And they make fun of it. Like anybody can become gluten intolerant if you follow these easy steps. But frankly, to me, I'm selfish in a way that I want my food to love me. And if I'm going to have a relationship with my food, I want to see what that food has benefits for me. It's like friends with benefits, okay? And I want some good benefits, okay? So, gluten benefits. Let's talk about gluten benefits. Bread can taste yummy, right? But there's no benefit to gluten. It actually can be used as glue. So when you were kids, if you had flour and you mix the water and then you put things to paste, right? So you don't want that to be happening in your intestines because it takes away your energy and it doesn't love you. And gluten can also disrupt your lining in your stomach. And that can lead to a whole other big Pandora box of problems. But there's no benefit to gluten at all except that it has protein. But then guess what? Beans have protein, vegetables have protein, other things have protein. So thinking about cost of digesting it versus the benefits that you get, to me, it doesn't come out as a good investment. Does it make sense? Okay. So let's talk about this. We talked about foods that you chew and then you eat and you digest. Then we talked about smoothies that you drink, but you still have the fiber. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And then we talked about the smoothies that you drink, and they're easy to digest, but you still need to have energy to digest the smoothies. But if you or someone you just can't take care of really, really needs energy, and they don't want to spend time on digesting anything, this is when you want juice. So juice is the liquid extracted from fruits and vegetables. It looks like that, and it's clear. So I had juice samples, and a lot of you already tried. And if you have not yet signed up, we're doing a raffle, and the beautiful juicer by Mega Juicers, I have that, is free giveaway. They donated it, they were so kind, so make sure you sign up for the raffle. So the green juice benefits are, you have the energy, you have the vitamins, you have the phytonutrients, you have the minerals that I talked about in the beginning, remember? Without having to digest anything. So when someone is really sick and they really need every single ounce of the energy to go towards their healing, we talk about juice. Green juices in particular, low sugar juices. If you think about eating a pound of kale, who wants to eat a pound of kale? I don't. Eating vegetables takes time, right? And still takes energy to digest. But if you juice it, you can drink it really quickly. And when I goes into your bloodstream. But when you're drinking green juices, red juices, that is phytonutrients and vitamins with low sugar that goes into your bloodstream and gives you pure energy. And then your body goes, hey, I got all these vitamins, and I have all this time left because now I don't have to digest anything because it ain't Thanksgiving. What do I do? And then your body goes, I can heal this organ, I can go fix this, I can go have more energy to do things for my loved ones. And people say, well, how do you have, for your brain, right, make your brain work? You don't have the brain fog anymore when you drink green juices. And people always ask me, well, your complexion is so great, and you look like you're 20. I'm 36, and people get surprised. Like right now, with makeup on, so I look older. But I look very young, and people think it's genes, but my mom and I have been doing this. My grandmother, my father, all my grandparents, they don't look this way. It's not the genes, and it is the food. And also, if you want to do some anti-aging, I'm going to give you a little Z tip, and you can jot it down to look up mung beans, M-U-N-G, have been shown to have a property that actually stops aging. So mung beans, and you can sprout them, you can cook them. I sprout them, my mom sprouts them. And since my mom started doing that, she's looking so much younger than she did before. But that's a fantastic bean. You can put it in a chili. You sprout it. Yeah, you sprout mung beans.
How much of it do you have to eat?
I eat just a little bit every day. Like, you don't have to eat a pound of it. It's not like pound per year reversal. But it is a little bit, you put them on your salad, you put them in your soups, you just eat them as a snack, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Can you spell that again?
M-U-N-G, mung beans. And they are $3.29 a pound at Whole Foods bulk section. So that comes out to roughly 79 cents a pound of sprouts, which is super, super cheap. Still, for an anti-aging, it's better than pills. Yeah. Okay, and then what I do is I make my own to-go juice in mason jars because, sometimes I don't have the opportunities to buy juice, and I travel here from Miami area, so I made my smoothies, and I have a to-go container that is insulated for 24 hours. It retains the temperature. So I have a couple of those in my car, and I was drinking on the way here, and I had a smoothie this morning because I prepared. And people go, well, Alina, you have such willpower. And I'm like, well, you have willpower to get dressed this morning, to pack your clothes and toothpaste. And people who smoke, I gotta tell you, have the biggest willpower. Because do you know how much willpower it takes to always buy cigarettes, to spend money on them, to make sure you always have them with you, and a lighter and matches, to find places where you're allowed to smoke, and to make the time every single day to smoke. Every single day you have to take 5-10 minutes, 4-5 times a day to smoke. I mean, that's a lot of time. That's willpower. That's dedication, right? But why do people smoke? Because it feels good. It feels so freaking good. So if you start thinking about the food the same way, it takes 5-10 minutes to make the juice. If it takes 5-10 minutes to make the chili, 3 minutes to make the chili, 3 minutes to make the brownie. Not because you have to, not because you should, but because it feels good.
What do you put in your juicers?
My juice, I usually do apple, spinach, kale, cucumber, lemon, a little bit of ginger. That's my super easy juice. But usually if I have leftovers of produce and I just don't feel like chewing celery or carrots, just juice those suckers and drink it. Like, I don't want to be sitting there eating it. I want the vitamins. I want to put it through the juicer. And that juicer is the easiest to clean, is the easiest to use, and it is free.
What vegetables, what fruits should you stay away from? They said they have a lot of sugar in them.
I usually put about a half or a quarter of an apple per juice. So I don't necessarily stay away, but I just use very little fruit in my green juices because sometimes you just don't want to drink a green juice. But listen, if you want to juice a pineapple and put a little bit of kale, it's going to be already better for you to get used to it. And I don't want you to move mountains and to make a chili and breakfast smoothie and juices and brownies every single day. But if you do one thing, if you just allow yourself one thing, one little thing, it's already better. And better is better.
I love my juicer. Is it best?
There you go. The
Is
juicer.
it best
jot this down. Family Cafe, which is pretty easy to remember, Family Cafe, is a coupon code for Omega Juicers to get 20% off. So you can, if you like the juice and if you don't win it today, Omega Juicers give you 20% off Family Cafe coupon code. Yes?
I have a question. You take it to go and all that. One of the things that stopped me is because I read somewhere that you have to drink it, or you should drink it right away.
That's a very good
So
question.
I feel like if I could prepare and do 10 of these mason jars, I'd be okay. But I heard that the
Yes.
nutrients.
So that's a very good question. So I'm going to repeat the question and answer it. So the question is, when you make the juice, it will lose nutritional value. Will it? Question. Will it lose nutritional value, or should you drink it right away? So the juice loses nutritional value in 3 cases. When it has oxygen, when it has light, and when it has heat. Okay? So if you take your juice and you pour it into a mason jar all the way to the top, so there's very little space for air, and you close it tightly, no more oxygen, right? What about heat? You put that sucker in a fridge. You're smart. And guess what happens when you close the fridge door? It's dark, right? So you don't have the heat, you don't have the light, and you don't have the oxygen. And yes, maybe 5%, 10% of the juice value will disappear. But guess what? If you don't drink it at all, 100% of the value disappears. So I would rather you drink a juice that has 90% of its value because you made 3 at a time than none at all. The only thing about juice, it will go bad in 3 days. So you cannot make juice for a week. You can only make it for 3 days at a time. So make it on Sunday and make it on Wednesday. And then one day you go without a juice. You know, it's okay.
I have to pull.
Freezer? You can put them in a freezer, but you have to be very careful because if you tighten the lid and it's glass, it. Oh, okay. So the Ninja is a blender and blends. It's not a juice. So there's a difference, but you can have it either way. Look, whatever way works for you, that's the way to do it. Not my way, your way. Whatever makes your life easier. Bullet is fantastic. It keeps the fiber. It is taking more energy to digest, but guess what? You're getting the fiber with it and the protein, so it's good. I just want to give you all of the examples. So if someone really needs energy really quick, it's the juice. If you can spend energy to digest some smoothie, if you have a lot of energy and you're okay eating a steak, then you make the chili. Because that chili is no hormones, no steroids, no antibiotics. Doesn't take 24 hours at least to digest. Yes? With the heartburn? So heartburn has to do with acid, right? And I didn't want to get into that subject, but I'll just give you a quick little story. So everything you process in your body requires either alkaline environment or acidic environment. And food can change your pH balance. We have 7.2 pH balance, which is the balance that our bodies want to keep. If you're eating a lot of animal protein, especially dairy, it can be very acidic to the body because bodies need to produce acid to digest it. Now, what happens if your pH goes down because you're eating too much animal protein or dairy? Your body needs to make up, right? It has to come back to the balance. Because if you keep your pH at an acid level, there's more probability of getting disease. Your body is very smart. And it can, let's say, pull calcium from your bones because calcium is very alkaline. So people have arthritis and they keep eating dairy and they keep getting arthritis. And if you don't believe me, look at China study and studies that show countries with the highest consumption of dairy, America, Finland, have the highest rates of osteoporosis. Countries with the lowest consumption of dairy, Asian countries, China and Japan, have the lowest rates of osteoporosis. Nobody has problems with calcium there. You get calcium from seeds, from sesame seeds, you get calcium from kale, you can get calcium from plants, but not the calcium that takes away your energy. So from foods that take your energy. So when it comes to heartburn and that sort of thing, I would say heartburn is excessive acid that you're producing, but you would not need to produce the excessive acid if you didn't eat the foods that require that acid. So introducing more plant-based foods, not going plant-based 100%, but just introducing them, trying to see if you eat a little more quinoa instead of meat, if you're eating this plant-based protein instead of meat, seeing how your body responds. Because I had acid reflux as well, and my doctor gave me a pill, and then I healed it myself. And the IBS, also doctor gave me a pill. Anemia, doctor gave me a pill. Before I met Dr. Pappas, who gave me greens, and who I didn't listen to. But then again, I did listen after all, and now I feel much, much better. Yes?
The one exception to that, though, I know my daughter, the doctor told her not to eat tomatoes.
No tomatoes.
Right.
No what?
Tomatoes.
No tomatoes, right. No tomatoes. So tomatoes can be...
Plant, but that
Right.
apparently-
So again, this is not a one-size-fits-all, and I'm not creating a diet for you because actually the word diet has die in it, and I don't like that at all. It's a lifestyle. It's live it. You want to bring life into your body and into your food, and when you're eating living foods, you'll bring that. But ask your doctors first. Talk to your doctors. You know, there's grapefruits are not for everybody because they can interact with medicine. Greens like kale are not for everyone because they can interact with blood thinners. And you need to make sure you talk to your doctor how much greens, and you have to keep it level every single day having your greens. This is not a diet. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm showing you what's possible for you to try it on. Yes?
Rice, what would you say is good, like, to make the chili?
Brown rice is good, but whatever rice makes you feel good, because you know, even they say brown rice is much better than white rice. It has more fiber. 1 gram, 2 grams. I mean, it's not a big deal, but if you enjoy rice, and if you're eating with joy, you're not gonna wanna quit it. But if you're eating food that you have to or you should to because you need to, then you're gonna be screw it. I already have my to-do list and need to-do list and should-do list. Don't do that. Find things that speak to you and like, oh, that sounds yummy. Do that.
How about jasmine rice?
Jasmine rice is fantastic if you love it, but you have to love it and it has to love you in order for the relationship to work. Okay? Yes? The coupon for juicer is Family Cafe and Omega Juicer's website. Yes?
I have read that people that have hypoglycemia kale versus
Yes. So that's a good question. If you have hypothyroid, you should eat your kale cooked. You should eat your broccoli cooked.
so what the deal is with
Right. For smoothie solution, I would do spinach. Spinach does not affect your thyroid, but what affects thyroid if you have a hypo, which underactive thyroid, you want to make sure that all of the cabbage-related vegetables, cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, kale, collards are cooked because they have a gas in them that can affect your thyroid. If you don't have any thyroid issues, try it again. See how you feel. Too much kale, even if you're healthy as a bull, is not going to be good for you. Just like I said, kissing is not good for you, sleeping is not good for you. In moderation it is. Overdoing it, nothing is. Okay, so try it for you. Yes?
I'm sorry, I missed that. Did you say those things you should cook before you try to juice them?
No, before you eat them. I wouldn't even juice them.
Thank
Right, yes. So those that to cook, I wouldn't juice anything that has to be cabbage related for hypothyroid. But then again, so a lot of times we wonder, I have this issue, how do I fix it? Some issues are not fixable, but we can make our lives better by eating foods that help ease the pain. But some issues are created with food. So you need to think about what food has affected the disease and how can I remove the food or the behavior or something else that has affected it. So I wouldn't go into, well, if you were a kid and your thyroid was fine and then all of a sudden you have hypo, maybe looking at hormones in the dairy, looking at hormones in the meat, those things. Like if you are trying to find a solution by putting a Band-Aid on a sore spot without actually fixing and taking away what's causing the pain, it's never going to go away. But taking away meat and dairy are the biggest steps that you can do towards your well-being. And not even taking away 100%. This is not one size fits all, like I said. It's not all or nothing. My favorite expression that I created is better already. If you just do one thing better, it's already better. I want to acknowledge you guys. Everybody's here. And that's a huge step. You already took the time to be here. That's huge. You know, Paula talked about showing up. 90% of it is showing up. I have this joke. It's not funny. Don't feel obligated to laughing. Did it go off? Yeah, it's off.
Battery died?
Maybe. Well, I'm almost done, so I'll finish with a joke. My jokes are not funny. I'm Russian. Okay, I laugh at my joke. Anyway, the joke was, can a kangaroo jump higher than a house? And the answer is yes, it can, because a house doesn't jump at all. So you guys are already here. Like, you already made a step. It doesn't matter how big of a step you made. It doesn't matter how much kale you eat a day. It's not a competition. It's you saying to yourself, I'm going to do my best to love myself so I can love my loved ones, so I can love my family, so I can take better care of them, can take better care of myself, and I'm going to choose food that loves me back, that loves my body. There is a list on the back of my card at my table that has a list of foods that love your body. And again, not one size fits all. Someone might feel great with that food, someone might not. How do you know which foods love you? You try them on. You see what fits. You see what fits you, when it fits you. Again, I don't drink smoothies every single day. Sometimes I have eggs. Sometimes I have an oatmeal. Sometimes I have yogurt. It doesn't mean that I have to be doing the same thing every day, just like we wear clothes every single day that are different. Same here. Find what works for you, experiment, just try, and remember my recap. Reducing meat and dairy that steal your energy, increasing energy with fruits, vegetables, and superfoods, including 1 green juice or green smoothie a day, and that's it. Oh, that was quick. 3. But that's it, just including that, reducing one thing, increasing another thing, and slowly you'll get there. When you were kids, you didn't know how to tie your shoelaces, and now you tie on your shoelaces without thinking, but it took time and practice. And to create common knowledge into common practice, as I said, you have to enjoy it. It has to have benefits to you, and it has to be practiced. It's common practice for a reason, because you do it, right? So do your best because you love yourself, not because you have to, not because you should to, but because you're so worth it. And let me tell you, nobody needs to be healthy. You don't need any of that stuff that I said, but you deserve it. You really do. So come see me if you have questions. We're gonna have Q&A later. And thank you so much for being here and showing up yourself.
Thank you, Alina. What a delight, right? So it is so logical. It makes like the brain makes sense to the brain, right? With the way she presents the information. Okay, so I'm going to give a pitch. We're going to take a 15-minute break. So my pitch is to get you back here, right? It's like, you know, the room could be calling you, right? The whatever. Something else could be calling you. But come back. We have an incredible rest of today, which includes Jeff Dean, his TED Talk drummer. We're going to be moving with the rhythm, and he's going to move us and teach us all at the same time, which makes it very fun. And then we will have this incredible kind of ending and love tunnel, and Alina has some cookies for us. And then we will end with finishing the evaluation form, the post. You have a whole hour and a half for dinner, so you have plenty of time for dinner. And then we're back here at 7. 7:15 is the raffle prize, which is the juicer. And we have a wonderful yoga nidra, very restful yoga with Lisa Moynihan. So 15 minutes, there's restrooms this way, as well as those that you've already discovered. See you back here in 15 minutes.
No, she's gonna introduce you.
I better wait.
That was a great experience in your house. I loved
I'm
it.
so glad you made it. It's been getting a little more intense. Like the sessions have been getting, like the energy is higher or something. Intense.
I think energy is intense.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the last time there were like 16 people. Hey. We barely have room to line up. Holding up my hand.
What's your favorite song?
My favorite song right now? It changes every month.
Which one?
Right now,
Or every?
no. You like use this.
Okay, let's come back and we'll get started and people will come in as they return from break. It's really my honor and pleasure to introduce to you Jeff Dean. His mission is to empower, heal, and unify people through rhythm and sound. He's a premier drummer, musician whose 2013 performance at TEDx Miami left 1,400 people touched, moved, and inspired. Jeff is a former attorney, left his legal career in 2007, dips in every now and then, and discovered that his gift to the world comes through drumming and sound as a source of healing. Founding Drumming for Wellness, Jeff facilitates drumming events for all kinds of populations, from kids with special needs, cancer patients, elderly in nursing homes, executives in business situations. Jeff is also a proud father of a child with a disability. So it's a beautiful blending that we're able to bring him to Family Cafe. Welcome, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Family Cafe. Thanks to all of you. And we're going to get a little active because you've been sitting for a while, so we want to mix up the energy a little bit. So if you're able to stand, please join me in standing and moving a bit.
Oh, God.
And if you don't, if you can't stand right now, you can still do a lot of this activity from your chair. And what we want to do is, first of all, start shaking a little bit, start bouncing, as if you're made of grains of sand, and all the grains of sand are sinking down into the bottom, out down to your feet, and out through your feet, out into the floor, down into the earth, connecting you to the earth. Be loose like a rag doll, okay? Loose like a rag doll. Loosen your neck up. I'm going to give you something to shake to. So keep shaking to the beat. Shaking out all of your stress from the day. Shaking out all of your stress from your drive. Good. Loose like a rag doll, letting all your tension and stress go downward. Loosening your shoulders, loosening your arms, your wrists. And then we're going to get our voices involved because you all of your stress downward and responding to the beat. So the beat might go a little faster. You might have to shake a little faster. Don't know where it came from. You don't know what's making your heart continue to beat. You can even tap along to the beats, and as you tap on your body, you're activating the energy of your heart. You're also activating the energy around your belly button. Two very important energy centers. We store a lot of our painful memories, and our sadness, and our fear, and our guilt, and our shame. A lot of that gets kept in our belly area. So just like Alina was saying, love your food, have your food love you back. Now we're starting to love our bodies directly through touch, through your sound. So as you tap on your belly and you tap on your heart, you're giving some love and nurturing to yourself. So much of your life is dedicated to when you were a child by somebody very loving. You can use your voice to sing to yourself, regardless of what your voice sounds like. Doesn't matter if it's in tune, if it's high, if it's low. It's just your authentic voice. So we're going to start with a very simple humming sound as you send vibration to your heart, to your belly, to wherever in your body, wherever that place is that needs it. Good. And as you continue to hum with your lips closed, notice where in your body is vibrating. You might feel it first in your head. That's the most obvious place. So you're giving your skull and your brain a vibrational massage. You're giving your brain a tune-up. You know, like your car needs a tune-up sometimes? Sometimes your brain needs a tune-up. And we can do that simply by humming to ourselves. You can even add to the effectiveness by visualizing color or light traveling along with that vibration. So you're vibrating your brain, you're relaxing the left and right hemispheres of your brain, relaxing the parts that are stressed out. And you could also visualize the color of light spreading and amplifying with that vibration. We focus on the area of your heart. Just notice what kind of energy is there under your hands. You're sending more love and nurturing through your hands into your body. Just because you can't see the energy doesn't mean it doesn't exist. There are many parts of our